Hello, I'm the current Lord Mayor of Liverpool, Councillor Cllr Murray, and I'm here talking today to one of the up-and-coming wonderful poets, young poets, only 21 this one, Mr. Joseph Roberts. Hi, Joe.
Hi, nice. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It was wonderful because, as you know, I was only installed as the Lord Mayor on the 14th of May, a couple of weeks ago, and I think we actually pulled off a first at the town hall. We haven't had a poet as the entertainment previously. We usually have musicians or people playing instruments. So it was quite a wonderful departure from what we usually do. And I have to tell you, because you probably don't know this yet, it went down a storm. Absolutely everybody I've spoken to was, who's that poet? Who's that poet? So very well done. What were your impressions?
Oh no, it was amazing, and like you said, that the fact that a poet's never sort of performed in there before in that way, for me, that's what I'm all about, because with my work, I'm always trying to push the boundaries of poetry and take it to places where it's never been before. So I take pride in that, and thank you. And it was great. It was a great event, and congratulations as well.
Oh, thank you. What were your impressions of the town hall, Joe? Because it's a wonderful building.
It is. It's a beautiful venue. The paintings, there's like some statues in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of good art.
Grand piano as well.
Yeah. And the thing I think we always have to try and remind people about is that belongs to the people, as do these chains. You know, this is a chain of office. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to any Lord Mayor. And I love to do this when I go to schools and say to kids, hold them, who does that belong to? And they're looking at you and you go, it belongs to you, all of you, you know. And I just think that's a nice thing to know.
Definitely. So
These
the people
belong to the city. So our citizens, this is their goodies, their assets. Right. We're here to talk about more than my installation. So what have you been doing since then? I believe you've been doing some really nice commissions.
Yeah, so since then, since the inauguration there, Liverpool won the league.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah.
And I was asked by the Premier League to write a poem to celebrate globally Liverpool's achievements, and we made this poem. It's called All Roads Lead to Home, and it's about it's connecting fans from around the world, and it's basically saying no matter where you are in the world, we are all connected, we are all one, we are all Liverpool. And so I done that, and that was an incredible experience, and I think it's got over 7 million views worldwide.
Interesting on that, because I was down at Cunard. Well, I was trying to get to Cunard, couldn't get across the road. I think they're now estimating between 1 million and 1.5 million people.
Really, yeah.
It was very densely populated.
Wow.
But I noticed, because I was in town, and we tried to get across at different points on the Strand, and it wasn't possible in the end. But it wasn't so much Scouse accents I heard. I heard so many foreign accents and languages, and people from Birmingham and people from Wales and Scotland. And it was like, because I think we've got about 500,000 people living here, haven't we? If you think about 1.5 million turned out for that, because if you looked at the route, it was densely populated the whole way in.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of local people probably went on the route as opposed to in town. But amazing. And I've heard the poem, and I'm sure there will be an opportunity for listeners to hear that poem as well. But what a great theme, home and football. And I think the blue and the red teams unite us in Liverpool, don't they?
Definitely, and I think we always like to support each other, you know, even with the likes of the new Everton Stadium. It's really great for the city to bring in money and its opportunities, and to rebuild down by the docks and stuff like that, and you know, Bramley-Moore. I think it's great, and yeah, I hope they do well. To be honest, not as good as us, but I hope they do all right.
That's what I always say, because I'm a red, but my partner and my kids are all blues. So I'm quite happy for Everton to do well, except at the derby.
Yeah, of course.
You know, when push comes to shove, I have to be red. Anyway, I believe you also had a commission from Nike.
Yeah, so a part of that, Liverpool win the league. Nike is the sponsor of Liverpool Football Club, but it's about to change over the season to something else. And to celebrate sort of the end of the partnership, they got like a van, and they wanted to do something along the lines of, is it an ice lolly or a lolly ice?
Oh.
Now, in Liverpool, what do you call it? Do you call it a lolly ice?
Lolly ice.
Yeah, I call it a lolly ice.
Yeah.
Now in Liverpool we call it a lolly ice, but other parts of the UK call it an ice lolly, and even around the world they might call it something else. And so, because it was summer, it was
Frosty.
hot, frosty or an ice pop or something like that.
Yeah.
But with Liverpool in the league and everything, they went round with this van, and it was sort of a symbol of Scouse culture, and it had on the van, is it an ice lolly or a lolly ice? And they asked me to perform this, to do this poem, this commission poem, like, let's settle the debate. Yeah. What is it? And it caused so much engagement online. People commenting, it's a lolly ice. No, it's an ice lolly. It's a this, it's a that. And it done very well for Nike, and it done very well for me. And you know, they done a really big campaign surrounding that and got players to give out lolly ices and stuff like that. So it was great.
I think that's amazing, because I love things which are innovative, really, and it's always trying to find those new ideas. But that sits so very well with one of the beneficiaries of my fundraising this year, which is Liverpool Literacy Cycle, and we are literally in 2025 Liverpool Year of Spoken Word, which is, you know, we're talking today because you're a poet and you're a performance poet, and that's spoken word. But you're literally talking about the debate that can be generated by these ideas. Something as simple as a lolly ice.
Definitely.
And everybody has an opinion.
Everyone's got an opinion on it, and so they don't realise it, but they're listening to poetry, and it's touching and tapping into different audiences and target markets that have never been exposed to poetry before. And so that's what excites me as an artist, as a poet. I'm always trying to put poetry in places where it's never been, such as the town hall, such as the expo, such as, you know, everything I do. So that's what excites me, keeps me going.
Well, I just think that's interesting. I couldn't agree more, as you know. I've got a long relationship with poetry in this city. I used to be involved with the Dead Good Poets. But you bring it right up to date there with the Poetry Expo. Could you tell our listeners something about why you had that idea and what you think it's going to achieve? Because I think it's amazing. It's another worldwide first, isn't it? And I just love those when they happen here in Liverpool, especially when I'm Lord Mayor.
No, it is. It's really special, and this year is the year of the spoken word, as you know, so it links in really nicely. But yeah, I had this idea about a year ago, actually, and I was looking at all these open mics and all these different events that we're doing all around the UK, and it's amazing. And it's like, but we don't know each other though.
No,
it's poets performing to poets. But what if we could have somebody from the general public who could walk in? Yeah. That's how we're going to grow poetry. Whereas it's not just poets performing to poets, it's the general public.
Yeah. And
so I also wanted to connect poets all around the UK. So with this expo, it's an opportunity for poets, writers, creatives to network, perform, write. There's food, drink, and you can explore all the different stalls and gain contacts and to develop as a poet. And that's everything I stand for. And when I started in school, like I got laughed at and stuff because like poetry is not considered cool. It's not like a cool thing to do. It's particularly for like young people or for where I was from anyway. Yeah. And so poetry can be a lonely place, but if everybody comes together, it's like less of a lonely place, and somebody could walk through that door and suddenly it's reinforced positively as this is cool. And like, look what Joe's doing with these poems. Look what he's just done stuff for Nike. Yeah. Oh, I can do that too. Look, he's just done the Premier League. I can do that too. And so I'm all about raising the barriers, and people project their limitations onto you and tell you that you can't do it. And I've proven people wrong many a time, and I've said like, listen, you can do it. You can, and that's what I do when I go into schools. And you know, it's sad that like some students haven't had a single word of encouragement in their life. Some kids, they haven't had a single word of encouragement in their life. And when you go in and you say, I'm a poet, and you've went through that journey and you've done all these videos and achieved these things, suddenly that kid wants to pick up the pen and do it himself. And so
it's a great role model.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, I think there's two things around that. One you haven't mentioned is there are going to be an awful lot of school children at this expo during the day.
Yeah.
And that's their opportunity. And for some of them, if not many of them, it'll be the first time they've composed a poem or written a poem.
Yeah.
And it puts me in mind of one of the other beneficiaries of my year's Lord Mayor fundraiser, which is Liverpool Poetry Space, because I know we've talked about this. I think this is a wonderful idea to have a space dedicated here in Liverpool, because we are great talkers and great poets, whereby children could come and visit and learn more about it. They're getting the taste of this at the expo, and hopefully that's going to be an annual taste where all the schools come together to share with each other and get to know each other and enjoy poetry together. But I think it'd be lovely to have a space which is, as I say, dedicated for reading poetry, writing poetry, performing it, a place where we can train teachers to go out and teach poetry, or to make it, I don't know. I know when I was teaching, I did not like delivering creative writing.
Why?
And I was a poet. Because you don't want to close down people's ideas, and you don't want the whole class to write a poem that sounds the same.
Yeah.
You know, so there are tricks to doing this well, and there's places like the Windows Project, lots of freelancers like yourself there who can go out and they're skilled at delivering. But I think if we had a poetry space, we could bring in lots of teachers and educators and teach them about that as well, which is another way of giving it purpose, because to have a poetry space, it would have to be economically viable, and it needs to provide lots of things. And then the icing on the cake, of course, would be all the performances.
Yeah.
People could come from all around the world to perform in Liverpool.
True. Yeah.
But anyway, that's me going off on one. I know you've got plans to bring out an album. Be great if you could tell us a bit more about that. Sneak preview.
Yeah, so I'm bringing out my debut poetry album on the 27th of June, and it's called A Whole New Meaning, and it's volume 1, and it's 12 tracks, and each track is a different word, and I'm giving that word a whole new meaning. And the whole point of poetry and everything, I try and break down language, break down concepts, meanings. What does that mean? Yes. You know, I always ask questions. A statement closes the mind, but a question opens the mind. Yeah. So when we ask questions, and I like to break down words, and also I'd like to think that I'm trying to give poetry a whole new meaning, and I'm trying to make it cool and accessible and things like that. And so that's where it came from. And as I get older, I'm still a young man, so it's only volume 1. But I'll do another album in a few years, and as my style evolves, and as I get better, the meaning of my life and the meaning of these words will evolve over time. And I think definitions aren't definite. You know, things change over time. Change. And that's what I like to explore. Don't they? They do evolve.
And I'm just thinking, I should say, like, I think this is a great concept. It's almost historically tracking your journey as a poet.
That's what it is, yeah.
You know,
documenting.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Joseph, it's been a delight talking to you, always it is, because I think we both have poetry at heart, and we're both keen to promote poetry.
We are.
But it's been a delight talking to you, and today is really about being Lord Mayor and talking to people who make our city tick and have a great heartbeat. And I'd just say to folks out there, if you've enjoyed listening to Joe and I talking this afternoon, or whenever you listen, please join us again on future podcasts. I'm hoping to put these out about 1 a month. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
And thank you for joining me, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Joseph Roberts, and this is a poem called Normal. And it's a new piece, and it's about questioning what is normal. And everybody's normal is different. So here it goes. Normal is conforming to a standard. Usual, typical, expected. Abnormal is rebelling. Unusual, atypical, unexpected. Normal, same. Abnormal, strange. But if we were all the same, wouldn't that be strange? The world would be rather boring, scary. Some would call it paranormal. Suit and tie, act all formal when that's not you, that's not your calling. Just be yourself, lad. Just be normal. Do you remember when you got crushed to normal? Expected to stand in accordance, picture perfect society's drawing. We please our peers with a big performance. Live up to these ideas, what's considered normal. Your normal's not my normal. My normal's not your normal. No war, no gore over normal. Let's just be thoughtful, not forceful, when living out our different normals. Your normal's not my normal. My normal's not your normal. No war, no gore over normal. Let's just be thoughtful, not forceful, when living out our different normals. Get a normal job, wear normal clothes, drive a normal car and live in a normal home. Lad, there isn't even normal roads. Twist turns, potholes everywhere you go. Burn your finger on the kettle, appalling. Effing and jeffing, you never felt the warning. Blow on your finger 'cause it's scorching, things happen. We're only human, it's only normal. We all make mistakes, people exploring. People are laughing when people are falling. People attacking when they're still crawling, no mercy at all. When you're a little different in a world that's normal. No, your normal's not my normal. My normal's not your normal. No war, no gore over normal. Let's just be thoughtful, not forceful, when living out our different normals. Your normal's not my normal. My normal's not your normal. No war, no gore over normal. Let's just be thoughtful, not forceful, when living out our different normals.